Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to K8 Now. I'm Chase Gage here for a new segment we're kicking off that I'm tentatively calling the lunch hour. I'm joined now by Drew Waddell with the Jonesboro Public School Foundation. Drew, you are my very first guest here in the digital studio. How cool is this?
I'm fired up. Yeah, when we first talked about this, we were talking just a minute ago off air that I wanted to be the first one, so I'm competitive. So I was trying to get on your calendar fast enough to be the first guy. We did
it, and we got it. So I'm very excited. We have a lot to talk about. So you guys have been doing a lot of cool stuff. We'll get to that. But first, just tell me a little bit about who you guys are, what it is that you do, and just some of the cool stuff that you guys are doing here in our community.
Yeah. So the Jonesboro Public Schools Foundation is kind of what we're talking about today. When I first reached out to Chase, it was just more of an awareness thing. You know, it's Jonesboro schools. First of all, I'll just say we're so lucky to have so many great schools in Jonesboro. Jonesboro, Valley View, West Side, Brooklyn, Nettleton. I could go down the list, but I'm a Jonesboro High School graduated in 2005. My mom was a teacher. My dad was a school board president for a long time in Jonesboro, so I've got a lot of history as far as that goes. So at the end of the day, I felt the need to, when I moved back years ago, to jump in, and so anyway, that's kind of where all this began. The Jonesboro Schools Foundation started in 2007. Okay, and so we exist for the sole purpose of raising money for teacher grants, and so basically it's for things that they want to do in the classroom, but maybe they don't have the proper funding to do in the classroom. And so, there's only so much money that goes around at the end of the day for teachers. And so this began as an outlet for them to apply ideas and projects that they had to funding that was outside of normal public funding in schools. And so it started slow back in 2007 or so, has grown to today. I can go through numbers, basically here in a little bit that'll kind of blow people's minds, I think. But that's kind of where it birthed. But that's our sole purpose, is to support teachers. So.
Yeah, and that's something I think is very needed here in this community, especially in this time. I know being a teacher has probably never been more difficult than it is now post-COVID, and any help that those teachers can get in the classrooms, any way to keep students engaged and do some fun things. One example that you brought up, we ran this story a couple weeks ago, or whenever this was. I don't know. After the snowstorm, I've lost all sense of time. I couldn't even tell you what day
all the days run together, right?
Exactly. But we did this story where the Bearded Bouquet in Jonesboro came to, it was one of the magnet schools, correct?
Yeah, that was International Studies magnet school. That was actually with Miss Paula Brown. She is a counselor there. I know her well, known her my whole life, actually. She's an amazing person. But this specific grant was essentially, I believe, and I think I've even got the list here, but it's basically it's called Kids of Hope is what it's called. And essentially, any kid that's experienced trauma, at any point in their life, any kind of example you could think of, just finding ways for them to engage in new experiences to cope with that trauma, but just to have, different experiences to have joy and have fun. And so anyway, she came up with this idea with Bearded Bouquet, who we know very well. I mean, they're amazing in the community, to come in and literally make flower arrangements with kids to teach them how to do it, and to pay for that. We were able to fund it, of course, which money's great, but to see the kids doing it, to see these grants in action is so neat. And so we actually had a couple of our folks that got to go attend it. I didn't get to go that day. That was actually the Friday before the snow, I think. So,
gotcha.
But anyway, they had a great time. You can see some of the clips, and it's so cool that K8 picked that up. So that's an example of one that we did.
We've got that full story for anyone interested. You can go over and check it out on our website, kait.com. Shameless plug there, but we ran that story, and I thought it was so cool, and had no idea that you guys had anything to do with it and we'd already talked at that point, and you're like, by the way, that was us. I'm like, man, that's so cool. That story warmed my heart, and I know that's one of just a few things. I mean, there's several other examples of cool stuff you guys have done.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll just kind of share. So just to kind of tell you the scale that we're on at this point. So the foundation, I think we have 18 members on our foundation now. Most of them have some kind of Jonesboro schools background. Now, they may have moved off for a while and came back at some point. Obviously, we're led by some of our staff at JPS as well. Our superintendent, Misty Doyle, will sit in with us once a month. William Cheatham, assistant superintendent as well. So we have staff, we have alumni, we have people like that to serve on this. And but last year, this is pretty cool. Wish we had some clapping hands, sound effects. But
maybe that's something we can work on.
We need to add that, right?
I think our engineers they'll watch all of these. So Drew, if you're listening, or Drew, Derek, whoever can get me those, maybe get some clapping hands.
But we raised the most money we ever raised. So we raised over $80,000 last year. We funded, I think, almost 40 grants total. And we gave out, I think in grants alone, over $50-something thousand. Wow. So, every year we're getting bigger and bigger. And listen, I would be remiss not to mention this all comes from local businesses, from people who are passionate about teachers and schools. I mean, we don't, we're out there just asking them out of their generosity to give. And so these are businesses, yes, that are connected to Jonesboro schools, but a lot of people, they're just like, hey, my mom was a teacher, or, I love this teacher. And I think about, Chase, you probably have somebody that comes to mind, but a teacher that basically graphed your life and made you who you were,
absolutely.
Or an administrator. Like I said, my mom was a teacher. I can think about, Miss Clark, Miss Spear, Miss Forrest. So many ladies and men that influenced my life. And so why wouldn't we want to give back to them?
Yeah, 100%. That's something that now, becoming an adult, I guess, and working in the news and being kind of plugged in the community, something that, looking back, it's like these teachers don't understand sometimes the impact that they're going to have on kids. Because I see teachers doing cool things now, and we get to cover those, and it reminds me of back when I was in school and some of those teachers that immediately come to mind, like Miss Langston, Miss Brewer, both Miss Brewers that I had, Miss Wilson, Mr. Stinnett. I had so many great teachers who shaped me, and hopefully they know the impact that they've had. And it's always good to thank these teachers, to do generous things like this, because they have such an impact, and I couldn't imagine what it's like to be a teacher.
No,
I don't know how they
job.
do it.
Yeah,
it is.
Thankless job. And I would say, from even when we went to school, and I know a lot of our listeners even farther back, it's, to be a kid today is tough, but to guide and lead kids in the environment today with social media and everything, that could be a whole other podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a difficult job. It's a thankless job. So this is an opportunity to give back to them on something that they're passionate about. They've applied for, they put time and effort into, because there's a process to this, basically. So.
And you sent me a list, and I was scrolling through.
I know.
I think that's probably what you have printed out.
I brought it here. Yeah.
A bunch of stuff going on there. I'm going to also pop over to a few of the pictures that you sent in, and we can talk about some of these. We can talk about some of the grants, whatever you want to do, man.
Well, I'll tell you, so this picture that's up on the screen now, this was actually at a football game back in the fall. So one thing we like to do too is honor our community partners. This is Mr. Kevin Bailey with Bailey Contractors, a local business here in town, a great JPS supporter, also a JPS grad. We honored him with an award at halftime of a football game in the fall for just being a great alumni for the foundation, for supporting JPS. There's some of our members there, Jenny Beth and Bryn, and there's Misty Doyle and William Cheatham on there as well. So, yeah.
We got a $1,500 check here.
Yes. So a couple of things. Actually, this is hot off the press, I guess you could say. This is specific to our kind of, Jonesboro schools. At the high school, they have academies, and these academies are, anything from medical to banking. You can go down the list. It's kind of like a little mini college, but this specifically is Miss Macy Breckline and Caroline Crawford. They're in the medical department. We have a specific grant called the Future Hurricanes and Healthcare Grant. And basically we help fund, they have a white coat ceremony in February every single year. It's actually coming up in 3 weeks, where students in this department believe they're juniors and seniors, they actually get rewarded with a white coat, kind of making them official in the program. But this whole program is meant to propel them into the medical professions in the future that they're kind of targeting. And so this specific check paid for the white coats for their ceremony. So
amazing.
And so they get to have it without having to spend money that they could otherwise use on other things in the classroom. So.
I saw some of these checks in here. I don't know what order these are in, but some of these, this is the one I was hoping was next. Yeah. $54,000 check here. You don't see those big checks with that much money on them that often, man.
So that's from our tailgate. So our biggest fundraiser of the year is our homecoming tailgate. So anybody that has ever attended this really in the past 3 years knows, we need to get Kay to come out next year and hang out with us.
Heck yeah, man. You put it on my calendar. We can make it happen.
For sure. So Friday, it's always the homecoming game, usually mid-October. But we have a huge tailgate on the lawn in front of JPS, in front of the Fine Arts Center. We have tents set up. We have bounce houses. We have a band. We have, face painting. We have the band comes out. Dancers come out. We have food. I mean, it's just an incredible time for just JPS alumni. Yeah. So, but that's all sponsored by local businesses. But we raise the money. Some of the money goes to putting on the tailgate, but 90% of the money donated goes to grants. And so that specific dollar amount is the most we've ever raised that's just the tailgate. So $54,000 that went directly back into teacher grants. That's that big check from this year. And again, that's the most we've ever done. And I will say the newest thing we have coming out is we're working with the high school coach Tyler George, which is also our football coach at JHS. He leads the banking side of the academies. We have a new grant coming out supporting basically a banking software system at the high school for kids that are interested in going to banking, sort of like a banking simulator that you go through in banking school. So we've got doctors, banking. We're doing so many different things. Yeah. So it's cool.
So many cool things that weren't around when we were in high school. New opportunities for these kids, and
probably would have helped us a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. So 54,000. You said that's the most you guys have ever gotten. Do you have any maybe big goals for this year? Any anything you want to? Any goals you want to set?
Let the cat out of the bag, man. Yeah. I mean, are you going to hold me to this later?
Hey, maybe we'll see.
Well, so I mean, obviously, I've shared that we raised over 80,000 this year. So, I mean, it would be incredible to get to $100,000.
I think that's a good round number, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's going to take some major efforts to do that. But between the tailgate, we also do a April Mania Month fundraiser coming up. We'll be talking about that soon. But basically, every month in April is sponsored by a local business that they give a gift card or something like that. Like an example could be. Like a fast food place may give $100 gift card to Checkers or something. Anyway, people buy raffle tickets to win a day in April, and we draw every Friday. The proceeds from the raffle tickets go towards our fundraiser. So we raised $8,000 off of that last year. So that goes in the pot too. So that's coming up. We do so many other things throughout the year. We had a dine out night last night at Dairy Queen, who so generously offered to allow us to JPS folks to dine out, and the proceeds from there went back to the foundation as well. So we have so many streams. But the goals, I mean, we had, I think I can't remember how many. We had so many applicants last fall. And we hate to turn down a grant. I mean, really, we want to fund every one of them. Yeah. So I would say we funded 60% of them, 70% of them. But the goal is that if they're well done, well thought out, well planned, that we could fund just about every grant that comes in, you know. And I mean, these range from, I've got my sheet here. I mean, $1,200, $2,000, $600. I know we had one a couple years ago that was like $5,000 or $6,000. I mean, they can range from so many different amounts. So there's nothing that's out of reach to us, but teachers apply for these grants in August, and then we sit down and review the applications with staff and admin, and approve those grants to be handed out in, I guess that would be November. I wish there's a video out there. I know I sent it, I think, on the email originally that I sent. It's pretty cool.
Here's the thing. So I saw that video when you first sent it.
Yeah.
And when I went back today to try to dig through the email and find it, I couldn't find the attachment. So I dropped the ball there, man.
You're good.
So
you're good. We can show it later. Yeah.
We'll find a way to get that video.
That specific one was pretty cool, and I'll have to find the grant itself, but it was basically doing what we're doing now. It's teaching podcasting, and so the kids in the classroom. Here it is, Mr. Anthony Holmes from he's at Success. But anyway, basically, it bought them podcasting equipment, just like all this stuff. But podcasting equipment so that they could do it in the classroom, but also take it mobile and interview community leaders, parents, get their stories, and basically put them on a platform through JPS. So anyway, the video that was out there basically was Mr. Holmes was overcome with emotion and like, I can't believe that we got this. We did it. I mean, it's going to provide so many amazing things. So, and we're giving a voice to students, which is super cool.
I mean, this is just me thinking in real time here, but I mean, it'd be cool for us to partner with them from right here, man. Get some of those students in here, and heck, I could probably learn something from them. I'm still pretty new at this. Like I said, first in-person interview here. But that's the kind of stuff we're trying to do. Heck, we can
absolutely.
That would be a heck of a lot of fun to team up with some of them. So,
for sure.
I'm sorry I didn't get that video in there.
No, you're good.
I was digging for it this morning, man. I was trying to find it, but
it was an iPhone video, so I don't even know what the quality would have been anyway.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's anyway.
Yeah.
So just some really awesome stuff that you guys are doing, and how can people who want to help? I know you said it's mostly local businesses, but what all opportunities, I guess, do you have for people to give? I know you've already touched on a few, but just for, a regular person who wants to give maybe just a little bit here or there.
Yeah. And I'll just say, I mean, we're not sitting here asking for people to commit necessarily. I mean, if they want to, we'd be happy about that. I mean, whatever's on your heart to give. But like, we have people that give $100, a year, or we have people that give $5,000 a year. I mean, so our tailgate, the increments are normally 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. But like Mania Month, I mean, it's a $100 gift card. It's a $250 gift card. It's a $50 gift card. It's a free oil change somewhere, or it can be anything, But I would say the two main ways are essentially Mania Month and then our tailgate fundraiser. But, you can give anytime on our website. It's opentheroof.org.
Okay.
Let me make sure I got that right, Chase.
I could probably get that. I could probably pull it up over here real quick. So, I'm going to kind of roll off the screen for a second. I'm going to let you do that. Did you say it was Open Roof?
Open the Roof.
Open the Roof.
Let me make sure I got it right.
No worries.
Yeah, because I haven't been on it.
We're doing this in real time. That's what's fun about this studio is I'll just be like, hey guys, I'm going to roll off the screen. We have another computer just out of sight, and I'm just like, I got to go over here real quick.
Yeah, let me pull it up because I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, I'm looking at it now. It's opentheroof.org, www.opentheroof.org. Chase is going to pull it up for us. So basically,
check this out.
Anytime. Here you go. So here's some of our folks already on the front page, and great stuff there. But you can see a lot of the things we're doing. Which, even some of this stuff is a little bit outdated. We need to update it more, but you can donate. I think there's a link maybe at the top.
Give now right here.
Give now. You can go on there and give whenever you want to. And that goes directly to our folks. And, that's a way you can give immediately. You're always welcome to reach out to me or any other board members. We should all be on there. Yep, that's all updated. So, you can check out if you know any of those board members, you're welcome to reach out to them personally. We do send out letters. We just got done doing that last month to any donor from the past. They got a letter letting them know about our initiatives for the year, things that we're wanting to do in the future. And so, if you want to give, that'd be a great way to jump on the website, but also, I can even leave some contact information with you, Chase, if anybody reaches out. But, my advice there would be no amount is too small or too big, whatever. It all goes back to teachers at the end of the day. And I mean, I know that, and we know that, times there's not a whole lot of just loose money out there to give. And so anyone that gives, any business that gives or person that gives, like we take that to heart. And, and again, we target JPS alumni for sure, but anybody who has a connection to JPS or just has a passion for teachers, we want them to be involved. And it's not just giving. I mean, we have opportunities to come hang out and be a part of this and volunteer. And these grants, we get to go see them in action. And, you talk about cool to see these grants in action of things that we have helped fund. Man, there's nothing better than that.
That perfectly leads into my next question.
Yeah.
Getting away from like the PR type answers or whatever, how does it make you feel to be a part of this, to see the joy on these teachers' faces, to see, like we were showing a minute ago, the kids doing these hands-on activities?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel personally, man?
Well, I've got 3 kids of my own. So I've got 3 daughters. I've got an 11-year-old daughter in 6th grade, international studies.
I think I've got a picture of you guys right
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go, man. Look at that. You're on the ball. I'm telling you. So, on I guess that would be your left, to my left, or on the right is Kinley. That's my 6th grader. She goes to international studies. In the middle, that's Emma. She goes to visual and performing arts, along with Lila, my youngest. She is 7. She goes to visual and performing arts as well. And there's Brittany, that's my wife. And so, we've got a family that, has a lot of JPS roots. But, my kids they're actively in the district right now. And I'll say most of the people on our board today, like their kids are in school today. Yeah. So from a selfish standpoint, we're like, heck yeah, well, we're gonna empower these teachers, because our kids are going through and they're friends and all that. But to me, we're all really busy. I mean, we're chasing kids, we're trying to do our jobs, we're trying to volunteer, but there's not a whole lot of like marginal time, so you have to use your time wisely. And I can't think of a better way to serve than this, to give back to the people that have given back so much to my family and to so many people around here. So for me, it's just to watch teachers that I've known a lot of my life put these things into practice and to support children today. I mean, it's just an awesome thing. And that, taking, like you said, taking away the PR answers, because when you do fundraising and deal with money and things like that, it can be transactional at times, but you don't want it to be that way. You don't want to get to the point where it's just money in, money out. There's a face with every grant, every dollar that comes in, and just amazing people that are involved. And the JPS district has done a great job from a leadership standpoint. So many great people. And like I said, I'm speaking about JPS today, but I mean, we are so fortunate in this part of the state. I've lived in 3 parts of our state, and I can tell you right now, we are so blessed with great school districts up here. We just the last few years, I'm a Brooklyn graduate. I was part of the very first Brooklyn class that was over 100 students. So we were a small school when I went there, and I've seen Brooklyn just grow like crazy. We've got, Paragould and Tech are both growing. I mean, Jonesboro's been doing amazing things since I was in high school. I feel like it's been just building and building and building. Nettleton and Valley View. I know I'm probably going to leave some school out, and I apologize. But hard to list them all.
Exactly. Yeah. But we have so many good schools around here. So many great teachers. I get to help out with our Teacher of the Month segment, and that always brings all kinds of joy to my heart. So it's an exciting time to be living in Northeast Arkansas. I think a lot of good's going on, and a lot of it's because of people like you, people like your other board members, and people who give their time, give their money, and the teachers who are coming up with these ideas to empower their students, or give them just new opportunities. So
right.
A lot of really, really cool stuff going on here.
Yeah. And I mean, it's one of those things where, if you hesitate, or if you have any desire, if you watch this and you're like, man, I would love to be a part of that. Like, wherever you are, whatever school district you're in, jump in, be involved, especially if your kids are involved. Like, jump in and make it better. And I'll say, like, I know Nettleton has a foundation, sort of like ours as well. So, I mean, there are schools trying to do the same things we're doing, and I would encourage every district to have a group like this, to fund. I mean, because we all know there's not enough just general money to go around for everybody in the classroom. There's just not. So if we can support and back them up, and do amazing things. I mean, let's get every school district doing things like this.
What is it? A rising tide?
Yeah.
How does that one
go?
What
it lifts all the
lifts all ships or whatever.
Yeah. Probably butchered that.
Whatever it is. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I should have
we tried. We tried. It's okay.
You guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Listeners know for sure.
Yeah, they got it. I was interested in this. What is going on with this?
So that's pretty cool.
This one caught my attention.
I'm actually let me find this one real quick and read it, because this has been a multiple year grant. It's really, really neat. So this is at the high school. And basically it's a digital, it's a pixelated project. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I had it on my list. This is not one that I was able to attend, sadly, because it is super, super cool. Let's see. I have it on my list. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no worries, man.
This is the live.
This is live. We're doing this in real time. Like I said, this is your first time here. This is my first time having a guest here. We're going, man. We're having fun.
So I'll read you the description. This is Mr. David Leggett at the high school, and his grant was called From Pixels to Plastic, 2D Art Meets 3D Technology. And so it says, from pixels to plastic, 2D art meets 3D technology project will use money to purchase a 3D scanner, and also money to purchase a vacuum form box and also money to purchase a ChatGPT Plus membership, and miscellaneous supplies. Students will learn how to transform 2D drawings into 3D printed toys, and things like that, with professional style packaging. The outcome is that 100% of these students will increase their knowledge of digital design, AI usage, 3D fabrication, and creative product development. So that, I don't think that's maybe specific to that project. It's an extension of that project.
Yeah.
But on this one, they were basically using pictures of themselves and of students, and then creating some kind of pixelated image. I'm not like the technology guru, but he is Mr. Leggett. He has taken this specific project and then extended it into that was actually from, I think, 2 years ago.
Okay.
So he is extending, more and more technology opportunities to cool things. So, and I'll say that's what I was going to mention. Like, Mr. Leggett did this. I mean, it's things that better the community. Like, we had another grant that literally paid for our students to go out and learn how to interact in public, to be able to, little thing. I know some of you are going to laugh about this, but in this day and age, to order at a restaurant, to basically to be able to speak in public, to be able to operate in professional spaces, as an adult, and teach them how to do that. And so that's something too. Another one talked about using a time clock at work. How does that work?
Yeah.
How do you clock in? How do you do that appropriately? At Kindergarten Center, they have bought different pieces of furniture from a sensory aspect, and so there's just so many. I mentioned the doctors, I mentioned the banking. We sent a group to the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis as well. I could go on and on, but the point is that, it's from the high school. And by the way, I'll say we try to spread these grants out between our schools. We don't want to be lopsided on one school. We want to be completely as equal as we can to spread the love. So anyway, there's tons of different opportunities. My apologies for if I butchered the technology portion there.
Hey, no worries. I know just enough technology to do my job, and not an ounce more. I know how to push the buttons on here, and I don't know why they do what they do. I just know that they do what they do. You know what I mean? So I'm with you there.
They do a podcast about how to become technology proficient.
There
at
we
some
go.
point, right?
Get someone who knows what they're talking about in here. There we go. Real quick, I wanted to mention one of the things you were talking about, the going out in public and learning little personal skills like that. I find that interesting because, a lot of these kids were going to school in their formative years during the pandemic. And that, to us, we were adults when the pandemic happened. We had already gone through school and, started to figure things out. I'm still figuring things out every day. Yeah. But, for some of these kids who are maybe 5, 7 years old, whatever, they haven't been exposed to those types of things. So that's something that maybe, you as a parent perhaps, but some people might not think about really, but that can make a huge difference in these
Right.
kids' lives,
Right.
and something that most of us wouldn't think twice about. You'd be
Right.
like, "Oh, well, that's silly." Well, no, these kids grew up in some of the most unstable, unprecedented times any of us have been through, and that was, for some of them, their kindergarten, they're learning virtually. They didn't know how to be in classrooms, or even if you were 13, 14, that's a critical time of learning yourself, learning how to interact with others. So I find that very interesting and very awesome.
Well,
for lack of a better term, that's just awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, I've got so my sixth grader, she was in kindergarten during COVID.
Yeah.
And so if you remember, and by the way, I know if you're listening, you look back at those pictures during that time and you're like, that seems like wild that we went through that, right?
Yeah.
So think about how wild it seems for us, and then think about the kids, So like my daughter didn't go back, obviously, after, I guess, what was that, March, or February, right around there. And so, they didn't have a kindergarten graduation. They didn't have that instruction that second semester. They didn't have the social interaction, and when they did come back to school, I guess that was the fall or whatever, but it was way limited. They were wearing masks, all that good stuff. And so we have seen that those kids in that specific grade were affected socially, on interaction and things like that. And honestly, again, not to get on a soapbox because we could talk about this all day, but these things, social media, iPads, all that, it has taken away the ability to do what you and I are doing, speaking to a human, in person. And so that's why I had to highlight that grant, because I'm like, to some people that may seem so simple, but I'm like, we encourage our kids at the restaurant. It's like, hey, order for yourself, talk to the waiter, give those instructions. But some of these kids, I mean, that may be the only interaction with an adult, a professional person that they ever have. So if we can teach them how to do that now and teach them how to be a professional one day in whatever career they're in, that's pretty neat,
Not to harp on that too much longer, but I even think that we as adults post-COVID with cell phones, we aren't as adapted to society anymore. I remember when mask mandates and stuff were you don't have to wear a mask anymore in the store or whatever, and it was just like, oh, I have to be around people. I haven't been waiting in a line with people in front and behind me forever. I'm like, this is kind of it feels weird, So I feel like we could all use some extra social interaction.
For sure.
So especially, being on your phone all day and talking to people through comments and direct messages and text messages instead of face-to-face. So we could all learn something from those kids.
And I'm sure, I'll have to ask you, Chase, did you ever do a pig dissection deal back in Brooklyn or anything?
We did a frog.
Okay.
We did a couple other ones. I don't remember what all, but I do remember the frog. And that was... Yeah. I can. This is gross, but I remember the smell that day.
Yeah.
You don't forget that.
You don't forget those things. And so we literally funded 2 or 3 of those this year. So
Gotcha.
Pig eye dissections. Cow eyes,
we did a pig eye, but then we did the full frog. Is what we did. Yeah.
So I mean, and I asked that question because those are the experiences you remember from school, and we're able to. Fund those. And really, when I think about it, I'm like, would they do that grant anyway? Maybe. But they're going to have to pay for it either out of whatever monies are available or their own pocket. I think that's one thing, being a teacher's kid, I'm telling you, and a lot of you that have educators in your family know, there's so much that comes out of their pocket.
Oh, absolutely.
And that they don't get reimbursed for that stuff, and they're doing it for the love of their students. But that's hard when the money's already tight, the money's already limited. So if we can help fund those grants that they want to do, that they're going to do, maybe that propels them to be able to do something else, with that money. It's like the white coat ceremony I mentioned, taking that burden off them to pay for those, it allows them to go buy materials for the classroom and get them into different opportunities. So we're just hoping it expands, past boundaries that maybe they've had in the past, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Every little dollar, like you said, if it's, even if they were already going to spend it on this, if you can help them out, just push that somewhere else, and you expand in other areas. So I mean, it's just a fully every little bit is going somewhere and somewhere that matters.
Yep.
So,
and I'll say too, for any listener that is a JPS grad or has interest in JPS, if the foundation is something that you didn't know about, that, you're like, wow, that's really neat. If you want to be a part of it, we're always looking for people. It's like any other board, you have terms where people roll off, and, we've had people roll off. We've had, different tenures in, things like that. We add people every single year that replace people. So, if you have interest in this, and come reach out to us. Let us know you have interest, because we're always looking for different community members to come in and be a part of that. And the one thing I have not mentioned that is not a gigantic part of what we do, but it is something we do. We have several student scholarships as well that we give out directly to seniors when they graduate. And so we probably have 4 or 5 of those, and we also help with life after high school as well. Going to college or whatever they're going to do next. And I'll tell you, and again, I feel like I could talk about a million tangents, but and this is actually not a Jonesboro specific necessarily thing here, but if people don't know much about NEA Career Tech at Jonesboro, it is incredible, and it serves all the area schools. We have a grant going on with them right now. We're in front of Jonesboro. There's a new alumni plaza area out there, and we're putting some statues in that area that are going to be made by Career Tech in the welding department. And so, it's just incredible skills, because again, we go back to, hey, college may not be the route. Like you may go out and want to be a contractor, or want to be a machinist, or welding, whatever the trades, and so, which the trades, it's an amazing thing. We need more students in the trades. So, we've talked about all doctors and bankers and all that. I want to make sure and give a shout out. Like NEA Career Tech just had a huge remodel and facelift, and we work with them with grants too. But like, if you don't know anything about it, you should go schedule a time to go out there and tour it and see what they're doing out there.
Absolutely. I've done, gotten the privilege to do a few stories out there, and it blows my mind, some of the stuff those kids are doing there. I've worked with the, some of the culinary students that had, they sent food into outer space for astronauts.
I remember. And
man, they were building parts for spaceships and stuff, like 3D printing stuff. Man, it's
incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. When I was in school, they called it VOTEC, and it was pretty much just for, it was like if you wanted to be a mechanic, if you wanted to do something like that. But now it's expanded so much, and it's man, it's such a cool place. Definitely, schedule a tour and just go see what's going on. They've got the full mechanic shop. They've got all the computer, like the tech stuff that we don't understand at all. They've got all that there. But really, really awesome stuff there, man.
There's some statues in downtown Jonesboro that were recently done. I can't remember which ones they were, but Career Tech made those statues. I mean, it's just little things like that. I mean, it's just for kids to learn those skills. I mean, it's huge.
And for any kids watching, when this is airing, you should probably be at school. But if you are watching this on replay or whatever, don't feel like you have to fit into some box and go to college, because that's what you're supposed to do. I know that when we went to school, that's kind of what was pushed. Is like you graduate high school, you go to college. But man, the trades and doing something that you love, finding something that you love and are excited to do is so important. So JHS, the NEA CTC. All that, you have so many cool opportunities.
So many good people, and I'm glad you said that, because college is great. I went to college; it was great.
I'm an A-State Red Wolf, so
I was a Razorback. Don't get mad at me. It's okay. But I love the Red Wolves too. I love the Red Wolves.
There's no bad blood here, man. We're good.
That's right. But at the end of the day, in my profession, I get to work with lots of contractors and lots of machinists and blue collar trades, if you will, and so. I see such a need and have such a heart for students to realize the other opportunities, because use the skills that God has given you, and that, your talents, and don't try to fit, a square into a circle hole. It's like, be who you are. And so I think now is a great time more than ever to allow kids to find their strengths and then to pursue that. I mean, there's so many opportunities, and that's what I think the other side, we talked about teachers, we talked about administrators, but again, if you're a student, you kind of address them right there. If you're a student listening to this, which I hope you are, but
just not during class. That's the only rule. Not during class.
I would say, we're providing avenues and funding for these opportunities, jump into it and take advantage of these things. And if you want to see something in the classroom, tell your teacher about it. You know, let's come up with new things that we can do. And you know, again, like you said, I love that you said this is a great part of the state. I feel like so many people don't know what happens in NEA, you know, and, you know, we hear about Northwest Arkansas, we hear about Central Arkansas, we got a great thing going in East Arkansas, and the opportunities are endless. So let's keep providing opportunities and motivating people to stretch a little bit higher.
Heck,
you know?
yeah, man.
For
Heck
sure.
yeah. I have a personal question for you real quick, because I found this picture in here for the Jonesboro High School class of 2032 through 2037. What class of Jonesboro High School are you?
Okay, so I don't know showing my age or what here, but I was 05 grad.
Okay.
So 05, so we just had our 20-year reunion. Actually, at this tailgate right here, that's my daughter in the middle. She'll be in that. I guess she'll be 2032, but which is
that
blows
so
my
crazy
mind
when you say it out loud. Right?
I know. I was an 05 grad, so I had our 20-year reunion, but it was fantastic. So 05 grad from JHS, and like I said, I mean I've my grandma, my mom taught in JPS. My dad was school board president, so this was a way for me to give back and be passionate about it, and you know, just so many cool things that I could share about JPS and all that.
Definitely passionate about it. Just from the little bit of messaging back and forth, I'm like, oh, tell me a couple things that you did, and you send me a 45-page document. Here's all the cool stuff we've done.
I want to be prepared. I like to be prepared.
Heck yeah.
You know. So,
I was like, man, this interview is going to be amazing. I couldn't have picked a better first guest here, man.
That's awesome.
This has been awesome.
Yeah.
I'll reveal my age too. I'm a Brooklyn class of 2014. So
okay.
I just had my 10-year reunion a couple years ago. Terrible planning on my part. I had my 10-year reunion the same day that I was moving, and so I was just like the biggest grump at my 10-year reunion. I was exhausted. I was in a bad mood, and everybody was probably like, "Man, what is Chase?
What are we doing?
He used to be such a nice guy. He's just
this guy's totally different now.
Yeah. So
what's the deal?
So maybe by the 20-year reunion, hopefully I'll be in a little better mood that day.
Yeah.
That's just a quick little story.
You had to throw that in there to make me feel old, right?
Maybe
because you're
just a little
14. Yeah.
But,
Okay.
hey,
great,
here's the
great.
thing.
Thank you.
You see this? You still have hair and I don't. So
It's getting gray. Gray. You know.
I'm not going to have that problem at least. So you got to look at the positives.
Just wisdom.
Absolutely.
You know?
There we go.
Wisdom.
That's what I'm going for. I have started getting a little bit of gray in the beard.
There
Just
you
like
go.
I noticed a patch the other day. I'm like, man, I am 30, aren't I? This is really happening. We're getting there.
That's right. That's right.
Anything else you want to hit on, man, before we wrap this thing up?
I mean, I think we've given a good holistic view. My whole purpose of wanting to talk about this was just awareness, you know, and just we don't need to be in the spotlight. I'm not saying that we need attention or recognition because we are not the stars of this show. It's our teachers and administrators. So, but just to know what we do. So many people ask us like, what is the foundation? What the heck do y'all do? You know, and it's like, do y'all just meet once a month and eat lunch and what do you do? You know,
Right.
And I'm like, no, we have a very specific targeted approach to what we do. And so we've got a great board right now. Jenny Beth McCallum is our president. I'm serving as vice president right now. Andrea Brown is our secretary, and Gabe Roberts is our basically our treasurer at this point. And so, you know, just people in the community. You know, and actually, I think that list is actually outdated. So those are our previous board.
That's all right. I'll scroll back up real quick.
We need to update our website.
I understand.
And it just switched over about 2 or 3 months ago. But anyway, my point was telling you about those people is that, and the other people on our board is they're all community members involved in all these different areas of the community. So just awareness and just, you know, there's going to be some things hopefully in the future that we can approach the public with as well. And so just awareness and letting you guys know what we do. And would love to have you partner up with us and be part. And grateful to K8 for, you know, wanting to spotlight us and be a part of this. And I know we joked in the beginning about being first on the digital platform here, but just grateful, Chase, that you would have us on here to talk about this.
Absolutely,
so thank you
man.
for that.
I appreciate you reaching out and making me aware of this. And I'll share a little bit. You told me before we came on here that I reached out and then Diana Davis reached out and wants to have you guys on too. So that'll be a different type interview, but that's coming up. Did you say in March?
It'll be March. Yeah, we'll be talking about our Mania Month deal that we discussed earlier. So that'll be the next.
That'll be
next
super
piece.
cool. So we'll see you back here then, man. But thank you so much for being my very first guest here.
We did good.
This has been a ton of fun, man.
It's a good start.
This has been awesome.
Good start. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll always get to say, when this thing blows up and this is like the biggest podcast in the world, you'll be like, I was the first guest on
Hopefully you'll remember me then.
Absolutely. I will. Okay. We'll have you back on when we hit, whatever our milestones. We'll have a reunion show or something. Man.
I love it. That sounds good.
Well, man, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. One more time, you guys, this is Drew Waddell with the Jonesboro Public Schools Foundation. Doing some really awesome stuff in our community, man. So thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you guys out there for joining us as well. As we said, this was the first podcast we're doing here, but it will not be the last. So make sure that you're tuning in to K8 Now pretty regularly. I'll be sending you guys plenty of push alerts on the K8 News app to let you know when we're going to have exclusive content here. But also feel free to reach out to me anytime. Tell me what you liked about the show. Tell me what you didn't like. Be nice, of course, on the things you didn't like. I can take it, but, let me down easy here. That's my email address right there, chase.gage@kait8.com. You can reach out anytime. Thank you guys again for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.